welcome back to my channel. Okay guys, so today this video is going to be somewhat of like a different kind of video basically. So today guys, I didn't end up making the kind of video I had in mind for you guys because I thought this one would be more useful to you. So today I'm going to be telling you why your cake is dry and how to fix the problem next time you're baking another cake. And just in case you already baked your cake and you really do need that cake, I'm going to tell